Hello YouTube. Today we have a informational video, and this video may or may not have anything at all to do with any other video you have ever watched. And before I get going, one announcement, two announcements, and then we're going to get into some educational content. Um, Last time I checked, the defamatory post in Sis Is This Your Man, Arizona, made by the owner of Fire Mecca, is still up. Not really sure why it's still up, but it was up last time I checked. So there's that. And announcement number two. Um, Still have not seen any kind of public apology or been sent any kind of apology or recognition, admittance of behavior by um, the owner of Fire Mecca, maybe apologizing for the defamation, false accusation, doxing, or threats made by them. Not really sure why, as I've said. An apology would go a really long way. So, let's get into it. Got a short story here, and we'll go through a few short stories. We're using ChatGPT today, so buckle up and maybe you'll learn something. This one's called The Pebble in the Road. In a small village tucked between two green hills, there lived an old man named Elias. He was quiet, kind, and known for his morning walks along the forest road. Every day, rain or shine, Elias strolled the same path with his cane, waving to his neighbors and stopping to greet squirrels and birds like old friends. One morning, right after a night of heavy storms, Elias noticed a large stone had rolled onto the narrow village road. It wasn't huge, but large enough that a wagon wheel could easily catch on it and break. He stood for a moment, staring at the stone. We notice some hesitation there, but this stone, it says, if left there, could break someone else's wagon wheel. And he doesn't even have a wagon. What's the big deal? He could have walked around it. Everyone else would. It wasn't his job to move stones. His back ached. His cane wasn't strong enough to help. Surely someone younger, stronger would do it. But then Elias thought of the children who raced down the road in the afternoons, their laughter filling the air. He thought of Marla, the baker, who delivered fresh bread in her cart. He thought of the horses, the wheels, and the feet that could be hurt. Now that, I'm going to interject, that is leadership, to think of other people who could be hurt by the stone. Wow. Thinking of other people, not just themselves. Amazing. So, with a slow breath, Elias set down his cane, braced himself, and pushed. Inch by inch, he rolled the stone to the side of the road, sweat beading on his forehead, legs shaking. When it was finally done, he leaned on his cane and smiled to himself. So, it sounds like it was hard to do that. Um, Potentially, he could have got hurt, but he thought of the other people. That afternoon, a group of children ran past, not knowing what had been in their path. Marla's cart rolled safely by. The day went on, smooth and uneventful. No one knew what Elias had done. No one saw the effort, the choice, the quiet act of care. But Elias knew, and sometimes doing the right thing doesn't come with applause. Sometimes it comes with quiet satisfaction of knowing the road is a little safer because you walked it. And that, Elias believed, was enough. It amazes me sometimes, the hesitancy to do the right thing, especially from adults. Um, you might expect toddlers, small children to um, not always do the right thing. They're learning, they steal a piece of candy and think they won't get caught. Or maybe even a teenager, teenagers, they sneak out. Or maybe teenagers cheats on their tests thinking they won't get caught. But they do. And, it's those times when you learn to do the right thing because there could be consequences. Um, and it's when adults, um, they don't know how to do the right thing when it's staring them in the face. And um, you have to wonder, do they not know what the right thing to do is? Um, have they not been taught? Maybe they're just dumb and they need to ask someone smarter what the right thing to do is. Um, Luckily, there is ChatGPT. So, what's another question? We can say, tell a story. Can't spell. Story of an ethics violation. Violation. Type. Of an ethics violation in a small company involving lying, where the person who could do something doesn't do the right thing and what it does to the company. There we go. We could do that one. Tell a story. A short. We gotta do short. You always short story. Like a ethics lesson. Let's go. Ooh, okay. Title: The Missing Invoice. Cedar Tech was a small but growing software company nestled in quiet business park with just 20 employees. It prided itself on being a tight-knit team that valued honesty and innovation. Everyone wore multiple hats, and trust was the unspoken currency. One day, Claire, a junior accountant, discovered something strange while reviewing payment records. A large client invoice with nearly $50,000 had been marked as paid in the system, but no money had been deposited in the company account. Curious, she double-checked the transaction ID and traced it back to Ben, head of sales. Claire brought it up with Ben directly. He looked nervous but quickly brushed it off. Oh yeah, that one was a refund situation. Complicated billing error. I'll take care of it, don't worry. So that's the lie. But Claire did worry. Claire noticed an issue. There's the lie. Claire did worry. She had seen no paperwork, no evidence for the refund, no approval trail, just a vanished invoice. Unsure what to do, Claire went to her manager, Daniel, the company's CFO. She laid out everything: the records, the inconsistency, her conversation with Ben. Daniel listened silently, then sighed. Oh, Ben brings in most of our revenue, Daniel said. He's under a lot of pressure. Let it go. If it were something serious, the CEO would already know. We can't afford drama over a maybe. Claire left office with a knot in her stomach. She knew something wasn't right, but Daniel was her boss. So now we have the boss doing something wrong and Ben doing something wrong. She knew something wasn't right, but Daniel was her boss, and maybe he was right. Maybe it wasn't her place. So she said nothing. I mean, she went to the boss, but she could have done more. Uh, we can imagine what they could have done. Not that hard. We're not stupid. 2 months later, Cedar Tech was in crisis. Another employee found discrepancies. Oh, so see, the thing is, one bad apple. I mean, these things can. You notice a pattern, okay? A pattern, and it's gonna. Yeah. When you see a pattern, the chances that the person who's doing the fraud, doing the bad thing, is gonna keep doing it very high, especially when there's no consequences. 2 months later, Cedar Tech was in crisis. Another employee found discrepancies. An internal audit revealed that Ben had been siphoning off client payments into private account for nearly a year. Over 200,000 was gone. Investors pulled back. The CEO fired Ben and Daniel. Oh, Daniel wasn't the CEO. Oh, so there was someone else. Yeah, she could have gone higher up when she noticed there was a problem. The CEO fired Ben and Daniel. Too late. The company's reputation took a hit. Clients left, layoffs followed. I wonder if their names got out there. I mean, they should. If these people are acting unethically, like you get more than just fired, right? Claire stayed on long enough to help wind down operations. One afternoon, as she packed her things, she stared at the framed photo on the wall. The team at last year's holiday party, smiling and proud. Oof, fakers. She had known. She could have spoken up louder. She could have gone to the CEO, pressed harder, but she didn't. Cedar Tech didn't fall just because of one lie. It fell because the people who saw the cracks didn't act. Ethics lesson. It's not enough to recognize wrongdoing. Silence, even when uncomfortable, can be complicity. Doing nothing is doing something, and sometimes it's the most damaging choice of all. So then we can say, great, tell another story. This time, make let's say, keep it similar. That was very, very good. Tell another story. This time, make it a smaller company. Oof, here we go. Okay. Oh, this is going to be juicy. Okay, I'm glad you're here for this. And I have one other idea after this one, and then we'll go. This one's called The Favor. Lighthouse Design Company was a tiny two-person branding studio run out of a cozy rented loft above a bakery. Nina handled the design work. Her business partner, Leo, managed client relations, billing, and the occasional pitch. They were friends before they were partners. College classmates turned co founders, fueled by shared dreams of building something honest and beautiful. How sweet. One day, a new client, a boutique hotel, hired them for a full rebrand. It was their biggest contract yet, $12,000, enough to keep the studio afloat for 3 solid months. A week into the project, Leo pulled Nina aside. Hey, he said, eyes avoiding hers. The hotel's CEO wants us to mark the invoice as paid early. They're applying for a grant and need to show they've already spent the branding budget. It's just a formality. They'll pay in full by the end of the month. Nina frowned, but that's lying on a financial document. It's just a receipt. We're still doing the work and we're still getting paid. This helps them get funding. It's good for everyone, please. It'll keep the lights on. Not good to lie. Not good to lie. People think lies won't get found out. Not sure why that is. Nina hesitated. Uh-oh, there's that hesitation. She felt the discomfort rise in her throat, but this was her best friend. Aww. She best friend's a liar? She felt the discomfort, but this was her best friend, and they did need the money. Eventually she nodded. Okay, just this once. They sent the fake receipt. Oof. 2 weeks passed, then 3. No payment. Nina reached out to the hotel. The CEO didn't respond. When Leo finally got through, he was told there's been a shift in budget and they wouldn't be proceeding with the rebrand. No money would come. Worse, when Nina threatened legal action, the CEO forwarded the fake receipt as proof the work had been paid in advance. And that any dispute, ooh, receipts, oh. The CEO wasn't lying. They got receipts, they got proof. And that any dispute would be considered a breach of agreement. They had no case. Their own lie had tied their hands. Oh. Lighthouse Design Company closed a month later, and Nina and Leah barely spoke again. I think we could do a better one than this, don't you think? Ethics lesson. A small lie, even one made to help, can unravel trust and destroy what took years to build. In small business, where every decision counts, integrity isn't optional. It's the foundation. I mean, on this one, they closed down. I mean, the lie happened like it wrecked it all. Like people think, some people think that like lies are just, I don't know, like little things you can just ignore, like a breeze or something. Like it's crazy, these people. Um, in a small business where every decision counts, integrity isn't optional, it's the foundation. Once you trade it away, there's no invoice big enough to buy it back. I mean, imagine that it could this could have been worse too, because like they did have to shut down their little LLC thing going on here. Um, but like imagine it got worse and then like they just closed down, but like what if like the fraud like got worse and they had, anyways, their own lie had tied their hands. I mean, think if this had gone into like a legal dispute or something. I mean, everything's recorded and like thing is Nina should not go into business cuz sad thing is like Nina was basically duped and should not go into business with Leo ever again. I mean, Leo's got to change their ways, but um yeah, Nina was still compliant with the hesitation and everything. Let me see if I can remember the other one. I had another good idea for this. Morality, ethics kind of thing. But let's say great. That was very good. Can you do another one, um, but not involving money, but instead involving a customer and let's say it got in the news. Let's go. This is crazy. If you don't know this, Mr. Beast has been called out for many ethics violations. It's incredible his channel's still going. Oh, I was gonna do uh, real quick. We'll read this, but let's do um, write a list of the top 10 companies that were caught with ethics violations by whistle. Oh, I was going to do a whistleblower one. And then let's do Yeah, everyone knows Enron. Oh, it's going to go too much detail. I did not want all this detail. Um, it's funny because, like, most people, like, even if they're bad people, if you would show them this list in a visuals format, infographic, right? If you were to show them even a bad person, like out of context, like, man, what do you think of this? To be like, oh yeah, good. It's good these bad companies were caught and they're harming people, don't you know? Um, like most people are glad that this. So let's go back to the short story. Um, tell a short story about an ethics dilemma where someone at a very small company had a chance to be a whistleblower, but chickened out and people got hurt because of the failure to sound the alarm on the ethics violation. Let's say non physically hurt. Ooh, this is gonna be a juicy one. We'll go back to the other one though. A public relations firm. Oh, I said short story, dude. Didn't I? Yeah, come on, man. Why is this so long? Oh well. Okay, so we have. We'll end this after this. This one's not as long. Okay. Ethics. Willow and Pine was a small organic soap company run out of a renovated garage in a sleepy town. It was run by three friends, Mira, Jonas, and Lee, who believed in handmade products, ethical sources, and treating customers like family. Oh, here we go. They wrapped every bar of soap themselves, tied each one with twine, and included a handwritten thank you notes in every box. One afternoon, a woman named Tessa messaged their Instagram account. She said she had a severe nut allergy and broken out in hives after using their almond shea soap, even though there was no clear warning on the label. Uh oh. Jonas, who handled social media, froze. He didn't want to deal with this. Oof. He didn't want to deal with this. Oh my god. Ugh. It was just a small batch. Only 6 bars had gone out with that label, and the ingredient list was on the website, even if it wasn't clear on the packaging. She's exaggerating, Jonas said. Oh my god. When he told Mira and Lee, let's just say sorry and offer her a coupon or something. If we make it a big deal, people will panic. She might even sue. No, your customer has already made this a big deal. Lee frowned. We should pull the product, fix the label, and post something. It is serious. Jonas rolled his eyes. Why broadcast a mistake when we can just move past it quietly? We don't need that kind of attention. Mira was uncertain but didn't want to push. Maybe Jonas is right, she said. It's probably a one off. Let's move on. So they replied with a friendly message and a 20% discount code. No apology, no warning post, no label change. 3 days later, Tessa posted a video on TikTok. her face still swollen. She held up the soap, showed the label, and explained how the company had brushed her off. The video went viral. Local news picked it up, then a regional allergy awareness group, then a national morning show segment on misleading labels and hidden dangers in small brands. Willow and Pine's website was flooded, not with orders, but with angry comments. Their Instagram account lost thousands of followers overnight. They issued an apology a week too late. By then, the story had written itself. A small company valued its image more than its customers. Mira couldn't sleep. Lee left the business 6 months later. Jonah deleted his social accounts. They had built a brand on trust and care, but lost it on a single decision to stay silent. Ethics lesson. Avoiding responsibility may feel like protecting your reputation, but it often does the opposite, especially when people are involved. Doing the right thing loudly and early is better than doing damage control later. In the age of social media, silence isn't neutral, it's a choice that speaks volumes. Then we have our list of 10 major companies that were famously exposed for ethical violations thanks to whistleblowers. These cases span industries and types of misconduct, fraud, safety violations, blah, blah, blah. They show how whistleblowers can bring change and wrongdoing to light. Enron, accounting fraud, Theranos, medical and scientific fraud, Facebook Meta, harmful practices. These are all whistleblowers, right? Emission scandal, Boeing, safety failures, Purdue Pharma. It's interesting to see who were the whistleblowers too, right? A single person at Enron, employee, and single person former product manager, anonymous insiders, several employees. I mean, I believe this guy was murdered in a very suspicious way for being a whistleblower. Former employees, we have Uber, former engineer Susan Fowler. And then there's the impact too. CEO resigns, leadership overhaul, multi-billion-dollar settlements, increased public awareness, lawsuits, hearings, major reputational damage. General Motors, fines, increased scrutiny, Wells Fargo, long-term brand damage, Peanut Corporation, 28 years in prison from internal emails and employees that exposed these cover-ups. Wow. Okay. Last one. This one's called The Silence Upstairs. Lubin PR was a boutique public relations firm. 5 people sharing a loft office above a flower shop. They specialized in tech startups, helping small apps and AI tools get media attention. It was a scrappy creative team led by Ava, the charismatic founder who could charm reporters with a 5-word email. Kira was the newest hire, 22, fresh out of college, and thrilled to have landed a job where her ideas were actually listened to. She mostly managed social media and drafted press releases, but Ava often let her sit in on strategy meetings. One day, a new client came in, a wellness app that claimed to use neuroscience backed methods to reduce anxiety and improve memory. Their branding was sleek and their pitch was sharp. Kira was assigned to write copy for their website relaunch. While researching the app, Kira dug into scientific citations they had provided and noticed something odd. 2 of the studies they referenced didn't actually support the claims the app was making. Oh, so they were lying. One wasn't even about humans, the third had been retracted. She brought this up to her supervisor, Sean. Sean skimmed the document, shrugged, and said, "That's not our problem. We're not scientists, we're storytellers. The client gave us the sources. If they're okay with it, we run with it." Uh-oh. So Kira found the issue, found the lie that the company did. Kira says, but it's misleading. People might download it expecting real results. It's almost like if you had a brand that said like we're about helping the community, we're community focused, we're safety focused, we're about building community, and we're about leadership. But you aren't actually, that is misleading. People might download it expecting real results. It's a mental health app. Sean frowned. Kira, we've got rent due. Let Ava handle the client ethics. Just write what they asked for. Kira thought about going to Ava directly, but Ava was intense and always in a hurry. Kira didn't want to come off as difficult or naive. Maybe Sean was right. It wasn't their job to police the science. It's really too bad, you have an intense, scary person that you're afraid to confront. So what happened? She said nothing about the lie. She had opportunity. The campaign launched 2 weeks later. The app got picked up by popular tech blog, went semi-viral on Twitter. Influencers praised it. Downloads soared. But in a few weeks, negative reviews started rolling in. Users saying the app made them feel worse, not better. Some said it gave them false hope. Others said they stopped taking real therapy seriously because they trusted the app too much. Wow. A respected neuroscience publicly called the app intellectual snake oil. The blog that had featured them issued a correction. The backlash was swift. Lumen PR's name was attached to the launch. They lost 2 clients. Ava panicked. Sean pretended he'd never seen the studies. And Kira sat at her desk watching it all happen, knowing she could have said more earlier and louder, but she didn't. Ethics lesson. Whistleblowing isn't always about uncovering crime or saving lives. Sometimes it's about speaking up before harm takes a quieter, more personal form. Trust lost, hope dashed, credibility shattered. Silence might feel like safety, but in hindsight, it can be the loudest mistake.